Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Nerdy Encounters. Today we're going to go through the process of making a character for Empire. It is a relatively straightforward process, but I'm just here to help you go through it all in a little bit more detail. So first up, you'll want to head over to the Profound Decisions website, and if you haven't already, get yourself registered. Once you're all signed up and logged in, head over to your account and characters. There are two options, which is create an Empire character or create an Empire group. Select create a new character and then you'll be brought to this page. And this is where the fun begins. First, you've got to pick a nation. There's a brief description of each nation at the bottom, but you can read more about them if you click the little question mark here. I would advise doing some research about the different nations to see what works with you. Let's do a quick look into every single nation before you decide. To start off with, we have the Brass Coast. The Brass Coast is heavily influenced by Moroccan, Algerian, and Tunisian culture, with a lot of strong, vibrant colours. And 5 things that you should know about them are: they are notoriously candid, they agree that all things can have a price, they prize freedom and responsibility, they crave excitement and adventure, and they like agreements to be explicit. Next we have Dawn. They are heavily influenced by High Medieval, Pre-Raphaelite and the Arthurian era. They describe their colour palette as a summer meadow in full bloom. And 5 things that you should know about them are: they believe that nobility is an achievement and not a birthright, a great life leaves a legend, glorious in victory and proud in defeat, that you cannot armour the soul, and in Dawn they agree that the rules of the heart are quite complex, so there's a lot of focus around courtship, romance and tragedy. Next we have Highguard, who are heavily influenced by Gondor and Crusader Knights. The colour palette they use mainly revolves around blacks and whites, but there are some darker colours that go with them as well, like dark greens, reds and blues. And 5 things that you should know about Highguard are: that they made the Empire, that only actions are virtuous, that the purpose of the past is to inspire the present, that virtue and vice are contagious, and a chapter is bound by spirit, not blood. Next we have the Imperial Orcs. They are heavily influenced by the Dark Ages and Lord of the Rings. Their colour palette is duller and darker natural shades, mainly brown, but sometimes they add in reds and blues to highlight items. And 5 things that you should know about them are: they are loyal to the core, that they are citizens of the Empire, that they are building a nation, that war is in their soul, and that life is precious. Next we have the League, and they are heavily influenced by the European Renaissance and the Tudor era. They are very lavish, flamboyant and ostentatious. And 5 things you should know about them are: they believe that life is a competition and that someone is always keeping score, that the rules of the game are not to be broken, they believe that you should keep your loyalties close like the rings on your fingers, that coin counts and everything costs, and that everything is on show like a mask on your face. Next we have the Marches, and they are heavily influenced by the War of the Roses in England. Think the sort of peasant-esque style of that era. And 5 things you should know about them are: they believe that land matters above all else, that they have deep roots and long memories, that they are fiercely independent, proud and stubborn, that they are governed by consent, and that they hold their traditions dearly. Next we have Urizen, and they are heavily influenced by high elves in films and games. Their colour palette is very pastel based, with a lot of whites, pinks and purples. And 5 things you should know about them are: that they study magic as the highest discipline, that they live their lives by reason, that they aspire to mastery of themselves and the world around them, that they value elegance and precision, and they believe that education is the greatest gift. Next we have Varushka, which is very heavily influenced by the Slavic culture. They wear a lot of reds, whites, yellows and blues, with blacks and greys. And 5 things you should know about them are: that you should not let your eyes fool you, that you should respect your elders, that you should not leave the road, that you should prepare for difficult choices, and that they do not tolerate fools or wastrels. Next we have Wintermark, which are heavily influenced by Saxons, the Rohirrim, Tolkien's dwarves, Beowulf, and the Nords of Skyrim. And 5 things you should know about Wintermark are: that they are scions sired by storm. Due to Wintermark being a harsh land, mastering it has made them strong. That the hero's tale ends with a good death. That the cold cannot compromise. That a hero has a name. That the 3 tiers are entwined, meaning that the 3 peoples of Wintermark are indivisible. They live together and fight as one. And finally, my name nation, Navarre. They are heavily influenced by wood elves and rangers from Lord of the Rings, and their colour palette is a lot of greens, browns and oranges. And 5 things you should know about them are: the Empire is our home, that survival is change, that actions have consequences, that you cannot betray your enemies, and that you should tread carefully in wild places. Just remember that each of these nations has a Facebook page, so you can ask more questions about them. Once you've picked your nation, we can move on to your skills. To start off with, you get 8 character points, and you can gain more as you attend Empire events. To start off with, we'll go through weapon and fighting based skills. First, you have thrown. This is pretty straightforward. You can throw weapons of 8 inches or larger. This includes weapons like axes or javelins. Then we have ambidexterity. You want to wield 2 swords like Legolas from Lord of the Rings? Then this is a skill for you, as long as the weapons are under 42 inches long. Then we have Weapon Master. This allows you to wield one-handed spears, great weapons, polearms, and pikes. Next we have Marksman. If bows or crossbows appeal to you, then you'll definitely need this skill. Just remember that arrows are £10 each. And no, I'm not kidding. To quote people at Empire, it's like firing away money. Next we have Shield. This just means you can wield a big boy shield. But just remember, you have to be holding it in your hand for it to have any use. You can't strap 10 shields to yourself and become a shield god. Sorry. Next we have Endurance and Fortitude. This helps you last longer on the battlefield. It gives you additional hit points and bleed out time. So if you're a frontline fighter, invest in this. And finally, Dreadnought. You want to wear some big clunky armor? Well, this gives you that extra hit point. Next we have Heroic skills. These give you extra cool abilities on the battlefield. This could be anything from buffing attacks to getting up a downed friend. I'll leave a link below if you want to read a bit more about the details of them. Moving on to magical skills. So if you want to be a mage, this is for you. First up we have Battle Mage. If you want to wield magic on a battlefield, then this is the skill for you. And no, you can't just yeet a fireball at your enemies. Sorry. Next we have the Realm Lore. If you don't want to fight, there are plenty of other ways to use magic and 6 different realms for you to look into. Say if you wanted to go into Spring Lore. There are different levels to increase and to buff your character, and there are some spells and rituals that are specific to spring. Once again, I'll leave a link below so you can read about all the different realms. Next we have Surgical skills, which is the area that I have skill points in. First we have Chirurgeon, and if I'm saying that wrong, blame the internet. This is the first level of Surgical skills. With this you can help stop a character from bleeding to death and restore a single hit point. The next level is Physic. This allows you to do a whole lot more, and I will link below exactly what they can do because it's a lot, but there's a lot of really fun roleplay in this. Then we have Apothecary. This is if you want to brew potions. You can brew as many as you want during an event, you just have to get your hands on all the different herbs. Then we have Crafting skills, another area that I have skill points in. They're called Artisans, and if you want to craft magic items during downtime, then this is a good skill for you. Just remember to gather the resources that you need and put them into your account. And finally, Religious skills. There are 8 different areas to look into, with different ceremonies to perform and to help deal with the moral politics of the game. They also make sure that people are following the 7 virtues. So basically, the religious skills do religion stuff. As you can tell, it's one of the areas I've looked into the least. Next, you need to look into your personal resource. This is something you'll get every single time you attend an event. First, you'll need to choose the territory where your personal resource is based. Then for your resources, you can choose something like a business or a farm, which gives you money, a herb garden, manor site, forest or mine, which produces resources for crafting, a congregation, fleet or military unit, which can be used for the more political aspects of the game. And just remember, you can change these resources for 2 crowns at God. And finally, your character details. This is extremely straightforward. Give them a name, something that works with your nation or not. That's up to you. You can also pick an archetype, but you don't have to. It's a good shout to talk to other people in your nation to see if any appeal to you before you do select one. Then you can pick a lineage, or you don't have to. But if you choose one, each lineage has different physical attributes. Briars have bark on their skin, Cambions have big ram horns, Changelings have pointy ears, antlers, feathers or numerous other features, Draugr have really pale skin and dark veins, Mirror have gills, scales and fins, and various other merfolk-esque features, and Naga have scales and fangs, and various other serpent-like features. As I said, you don't have to pick a lineage, you can just be a human. Then there's the groups. These are the banners, covens and sects, but before joining any of these groups you will need to chat to the folks who run them. You don't have to join one of these groups, but they can help with certain aspects of the game, like covens who are tied to the magical side of things. Then there's character questions, which you can leave blank if you're not 100% sure what to put yet. They're simple enough questions about your in-character goals and plans at Empire. And finally, your character's background. Once again, you can leave this blank until you have a better understanding of the game. As a newbie, I'd recommend keeping it quite vague, just while you're learning about Empire and then adding to it at a later date. And that's it, how to make your Empire character. If there's anything else you'd like to know about this, just drop a comment below. And just remember, as a newbie, you can get £15 off for your first event. I'll leave my referral code below, but if you already have friends who attend Empire, ask for theirs. But thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next Empire event.